You're listening to Do This First, a daily personal development podcast that focuses on science-backed, actionable steps towards your best year ever. Hi, I'm Santa, your host. It is 34 days away till the end of 2024, because this podcast episode was officially released on November 27th. Today, we're going to continue with our micro series of finishing strong, and we're almost there, almost at the finish line. But we're turning inwardly, and these last couple of podcast episodes have been centered around finding peace and doing things that can support finding peace, happiness, success in a very balanced sort of way. So today, we're going to talk about something that's very counterintuitive, but actually really works. Especially when you're trying to descramble something that's very complex. Breakthroughs, as we like to call them, often occur in the most unexpected moments, especially when we least expect them. During a leisurely stroll, a moment of reflection, or while engaging in a mundane task. It's an actual phenomenon, to be honest. The phenomenon raises, I would say, an intriguing question. Why do breakthroughs happen when we stop actively trying to solve problems? Delving into the psychology of creativity, of neurosciences, and just looking at anecdotal evidence, it all suggests that the act of doing nothing may play a pivotal role in facilitating insight, problem solving, and innovation. That's right, doing nothing. This entire podcast is about doing so much in a stratified period of time, making progress towards your goals, taking actionable steps. So what I'm about to say is going to sound counterintuitive, but it's not. Stay with me and you'll see the logic behind what I'm asserting. First, let's talk about what's called the mechanism of incubation. The process of incubation is central to understanding how breakthroughs actually occur during periods of inactivity. Incubation refers to the time that elapses between the initial problem-solving phase and the moment of insight, like that light bulb that goes on. During this phase, although we're not consciously working on a problem, our brains are still processing the information at a subconscious level. Cognitive processing, that's what's going on. Research indicates that our brains engage in a form of subconscious analysis when we take a step back from a problem. The act of focusing solely on the task may limit our mental flexibility, whereas periods of relaxation or even distraction can encourage our brains to explore different associations, different perspectives, and different ideas. A study published in the Psychological Science Journal examined how distractions can actually spark creative insights. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but it's true. Participants who were given a challenging problem to solve and then allowed to engage in a distracting task that had nothing to do with the problem had greater rates of successful problem solving when they returned to the original task. This effect illustrates that stepping away can allow the mind to reorganize and make connections that were not initially clear. You've never had that happen? I've had this happen so consistently, where I just was trying so hard to figure something out and just couldn't. And then I just said, the heck with it, walked away, did something else. And sometimes even, let it go for a day And when I came back, boom, the eureka moment happens. Or sometimes I'm not even thinking about it and I'm doing something else, and all of a sudden I get the spark and know exactly what I need to do next. So this does work. The role of the default mode network, something I want to talk about. Neuroscientific research has illuminated the workings of the brain when we engage in periods of stillness or rest. The default mode network, DMN, is a network of brain regions that activates when we are at rest or daydreaming. This has been linked to creative thought and insight, breakthroughs in other words. During these moments of stillness, our brains are able to wander freely, potentially leading to new connections and conceptual breakthroughs. A study conducted at Harvard University demonstrates the activation of the DMN during mind-wandering and resting states. Researchers found that participants who allowed their minds to just drift were more likely to come up with novel ideas and solutions. This confirms that doing nothing can actually contribute to creative problem solving. So all the times your teacher said, stop daydreaming in class, they were wrong. Then there's the reduction of mental blockages that we all need to work on, right? When we're immersed in a problem, we can experience cognitive blockages or even mental fatigue that hinders our ability to think creatively. Stepping away from the problem can alleviate this type of tension and create space for fresh ideas. Psychological research suggests that this process parallels the concept of cognitive resetting, which we've already talked about in previous podcast episodes. And actually, there are a couple of things that we're touching on that I explored in depth in other podcast episodes. And what I'm going to do is, on the corresponding blog post for this podcast episode, at the very end, I'll link those episodes so you guys can explore those as well. Psychological research suggests that this process that parallels the concept of cognitive resetting, as I had just stated, wherein temporarily disengagement from a problem allows individuals to return with a clearer perspective, is the way to go. It's the way to clear mental blockages that we might be having that inhibit our solutioning capabilities and processes. Also, there's a lot of power in relaxing. Relaxation is essential for creativity. High-stress environments can stifle innovative thinking as they lead to obsessive thoughts and narrow focus. By allowing ourselves to rest and disengage, we can tap into a more relaxed state of mind that is conducive to creative thinking. This aligns with findings in research which demonstrate that lower stress levels enhance cognitive flexibility, enabling more fluid associations and idea generation. If we look at even anecdotal evidence of breakthroughs from inactivity, many creative thinkers and innovators attest to the power of doing nothing for cultivating breakthroughs. I mean, one of my favorites, Albert Einstein. He famously took long walks during which he would often contemplate problems. Einstein is known to have said creativity is the residue of time wasted. His approach exemplifies how periods of doing nothing can lead to groundbreaking insights. This is not to be misconstrued with being a slacker, with being a loafer, with being a person who, is lazy. This has to do with taking scheduled breaks, to unplug, to disconnect, to do this in a consistent manner within certain time intervals, especially when you're struggling with finding how to fix a problem or a solution to something that you're working on. So completely different. This is intentional and it has a purpose per se. And the purpose is for you to relax so that you can connect the dots. Steve Jobs is another one that was a huge proponent of doing nothing and relaxing for a while. And of course, he's the co-founder of Apple. He used to take time for solitude and reflection. He would engage in long walks to allow his mind the freedom to explore new ideas. Jobs stated that creativity is just connecting things, suggesting that the time spent doing nothing allowed him to make those critical connections. And how about the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius? He famously said, "Nowhere can a man find a quieter or more trouble-free retreat than in his own mind." So there's a way to harness the power of doing nothing. Integrating periods of inactivity and stillness into daily routines can be beneficial if you're seeking breakthroughs. And it's beneficial regardless if you need a breakthrough or not, just for inner peace. Here are several strategies that you can do to effectively harness the power of doing nothing. Schedule downtime, which I alluded to previously. Set aside specific time slots in your schedule where you intentionally do nothing. This could be a short break during work or a longer period of relaxation on weekends. Number 2, nature walks. We talked about this previously, but it works. Spend time outdoors without distractions. Walking in nature is a proven way to stimulate creativity while allowing your mind the freedom to wander. Catch a sunset or take a walk by the beach or a lake. Number 3, mind-wandering exercises. Allow your thoughts to drift without focusing on specific problems. Engage in activities that don't require much cognitive engagement, such as doodling or working with your hands. Number 4, engage in routine tasks. Activities that require minimal mental effort, like washing dishes or cleaning, can provide the perfect backdrop for new ideas to surface. Number 5, digital detox. Limit screen time and engage in periods of digital disconnection. And the phenomenon of breakthroughs occurring during periods of inactivity highlights the importance of embracing stillness in our fast-paced world. Research in psychology and neuroscience points to how the brain continues to process information subconsciously, leading to creative insights and innovative solutions. As Albert Einstein wisely remarked, a clever person solves a problem, but a wise person avoids it. In the pursuit of creativity and problem solving, sometimes the best approach is to stop trying to figure things out. Take a breath and allow space for inspiration to arise organically. Embracing the art of doing nothing can transform our approach to challenges and unlock the path to success and inner peace. It sounds counterintuitive, I know, but it works. If you like what you're hearing, don't forget to leave a review. You can also read a full transcript of this podcast episode and all of my podcast episodes on my blog, which is at dothisfirst.life. And while you're there, sign up for one of my weekly newsletters. I have so many now. If there's a topic you don't see, send me a quick message on the website. There's a little chat form there, and I'll take a look. You can also listen to all of my podcast episodes while you're on my website, and you can listen to most of them on YouTube. And my handle there is at @DoThisFirst. And I'm like right under 10,000 guys. Those that haven't signed up yet, and some of you have not. Sign up. I want to make it to 10,000 before the end of the year. So I effectively have, 34 days left to do so. So thank you in advance. Tomorrow we'll continue with our micro series of finishing strong. Till tomorrow.
Moving past the rain.